Flex, we talked about Richie Gasperi taking on Lee Haney and being second place. You came up in Era Lee, finally decided to hang him up. The crown was in your hand. The scepter was handed to you. I mean, it was all but Flex Wheeler's Sandow to be had. Everybody wrote about it. Everybody talked about it. There's no way he can't win this competition. And then all of a sudden, this guy named Dorian Yates shows up next to you. But take me back to that competition, Flex. You were overwhelmingly the favorite to be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, you know what? Unlike all the rest of these guys, I really didn't know that much about bodybuilding. Where I come from, it wasn't a lot of magazines, so I heard of Arnold, and I heard of Lee Haney, and I heard of Sean Ray, and that was pretty much it. So I didn't get to see magazines. It was just something that I did to stay out of trouble.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Flex, but to tell you how truthful that statement is, the nickname Flex didn't come from bodybuilding.
It come from me being skinny. I was working out and doing martial arts, so, like most little small guys, we got this image, we want to try to be bigger, so I always walk around, all puffed up and everything, and people are like, okay, here comes Flex again, and it just kind of stuck. So it was actually a derogatory comment, and I just kind of switched it around a little bit.
Well, you seemed to make it work for you, obviously getting into the world of bodybuilding. Flex seemed to work. Now there's other Flexes out there now. Flex, you take that as as the sincerest form of flattery?
No, actually, I met Flex Lou's parents, and they had stated to me, hey, it's not, anything negative to you. We started calling that before we ever heard of you or anything like that. So I don't own that name, so it doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Well, Flex,
Flex Wheeler, though. Don't try me.
Well, take me back to the bodybuilding days, Flex. You're on stage. Take me back to that actual moment on the Olympia stage where it's you and that announcement comes down.
When I was sitting next to Dorian, I already knew. I kind of like Lee and everybody else, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to beat this guy. Before competing and winning my first 4 pro shows, my pro debut and everything, I felt confident going into the shows, but I was just really green. I didn't know what was going on. But for the first time when I was standing on stage, I'd never really felt anybody's presence next to me. So standing next to Dorian, that was the first time that I could actually stand there and I can see him on my peripheral vision, and I could feel his presence. And like, Lee Haney said, it's all about projection and presence. So I never even, made any qualms about trying to beat the guy. That's why in all my interviews that I said, and which Peter also know, that I said I'm here to take second. It was never my dream to try to defeat this guy, and I didn't think that was, within my power to be able to do that. So it didn't bother me at all. I was happy to be there.
Well, certainly the judges had a decision to make, because you guys, I hate to use the old catchphrase, apples and oranges, but you guys represented about one end of the spectrum to the other as it gets. You known as the Sultan of Symmetry for your lines, your proportion, your symmetry. Dorian known for his muscle mass, that grainy conditioning we talked about. So the judges had to make a choice one way or the other. Obviously, not to your pleasingness, it didn't go your way.
Actually, again, I was happy to be there. Listen, that was my 5th pro show ever. And to take second, in the world in your 5th pro show, really? What are you going to be upset about? So I was happy. It was Ronnie who pissed me off.
Why is that, Flex?
No, honestly, me and Ronnie were friends way before that. Ronnie had got there way before me. We were friends, and it was a battle. Me and Ronnie shared secrets, and we talked about everything before that. So I never imagined, when I was giving Ronnie some advice that would ever happen. When we were talking to Chad, and I asked Chad to work with him and everything. And then he won a night at the champ. I was like, wow, Ronnie looks pretty good, And then I remember, before the first Olympia that we competed in against each other, Chad came to our room, so I was like, well, how does Ronnie look? He goes, yeah, Ronnie looks good. He looks good. I'm like, okay, so how does he look though? He goes, yeah, he looks good. So that right there already told me, because Chad's pretty open. And for him not to be more, vocal about it, I was like, okay. There's a problem. But honestly, to go back, I always noticed Ronnie, a lot of people, they give me credit for my Christmas tree in my back. And I remember numbers of times where I placed second. And I'll be like, why don't they ever give him any credit? Because I always thought his back was competitive to mine as far as the separation. So that didn't strike me. But when he showed up on stage, I was like, yeah, I got a problem. But it was nothing to do about it at that time. So, it is what it is. So.
Ronnie was a problem, yeah, that's for sure. Thank you. Flex Wheeler, ladies and gentlemen.